Good evening and thank you for joining us on KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Whitney Ward. Tonight we have issued a KREM 2 weather impact alert for winter weather headed into the weekend. Black ice also causing a lot of problems today out there on the roads.
Whitney, we are not getting away from it anytime soon.
Yes, it's just sticking around.
Yeah, and with temperatures down below freezing, it takes us into a day tomorrow where it likely starts out with freezing rain before transitioning over to rain here in Spokane. Weather impact alert runs through the day tomorrow, and with that we have winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings. Winter storm warnings are for heavy snow above 3,500 feet, but even that snow likely starts out as rain around 5,000 feet and below. Ice is expected along Interstate 90 and areas off to the north, with temperatures just staying below freezing all day today. Yesterday, I mentioned this briefly. If we didn't get above freezing today, there was no chance that we were going to break this pattern before our rain arrived. Because the cold is here, the cold will stick around overnight. Because we wake up to temperatures down below freezing, it becomes very easy for the incoming moisture to freeze as it first arrives. So, anything that falls, say, before noon brings us the potential for even slipperier conditions. Once we get through the middle of the day, it looks like the frontal boundary moves in. When the rain picks up in intensity, when you see rain really, really heavy, there's going to be a narrow window where it is even slipperier before things start melting because of the warmth embedded within that rainfall. That will move its way up into the mountains and then stay as snow above 3,500 feet through the day on Sunday. For us, the big impacts early tomorrow. Before noon, when the heavy rain arrives, it is going to be very icy.
All right, Jeremy, thank you very much. And with more slippery conditions forecasted for the roads, tonight Spokane police are reminding you just to be safe out there. So reduce your speed when you're out there driving, increase your following distance, and make sure your windows and lights aren't blocked by frost or snow. They also say make sure that your brakes are in working order and that your winter tires are on. New pictures tonight of a fire truck that rolled in Bonner County today. The Selkirk fire engine is now out of commission. And within the last hour here, we learned that 2 Selkirk firefighters were responding to a crash when the engine left the road and rolled over. It destroyed the truck. The engine suffered major damage. Firefighters who were on board at the time were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. They have since been released. We're told they will be back at work once they are fully recovered. The Selkirk Fire and Rescue Department says the incident remains under investigation.
What happens when we lose this organization? What happens when we lose the volunteers who are so invested in keeping our city safe?
A different kind of battle is now brewing among Spokane City Council as the city continues to fight budgetary shortfalls. KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy is here now to explain the new push to save community-oriented policing. Shannon?
As Spokane's council prepares to vote Monday on the biennium budget, one line item remains up for hot debate: Spokane COPS. The Northwest Side's cop shop was booked and busy Friday.
Have we met you before? What's your name? Anita.
But this wasn't a social call. It was a call to action.
Please be loud. Please show up.
To a standing room only crowd, City Councilors Jonathan Bingle and Michael Cathcart called for support for Spokane's community police, the volunteers of COPS.
This is what we call a force multiplier. By leveraging the power of volunteers, Spokane COPS allows our police department to do more with less.
Under Mayor Lisa Brown's proposed budget, COPS wouldn't be guaranteed $450,000. That's always been a given. Instead, they'd have to bid for it among other organizations.
The cost of losing Spokane COPS would far outweigh the modest funding it requires. It's the cost of losing the trust, the relationships, and the sense of community that this organization fosters.
Treasurer Kelly Cruz questions why, if COPS is helping city police, they can't capitalize on Proposition 1's tax revenue too.
But if you're going to use the money for public safety, some of that money could be pumped into Spokane COPS to enhance and expand our programs.
Cathcart says he'd love to not only fund COPS, but expand it.
Just having a cop shop in your neighborhood increases the perception of safety. And it frankly increases the reality of safety.
Except Mayor Brown says she's still waiting for proof of that reality. In a statement, she says despite repeated requests, she has yet to see financial records on how the group uses taxpayer money.
We all want the same thing,
So how do we work on that together, and how do we be the most fiscally responsible to make that happen?
Council will vote Monday on funding COPS for 3 more months for no more than $200,000.
There is an amendment proposed to that.
Council is expected to vote on the budget Monday. Cathcart says he has also suggested paying COPS $800,000 for that biennium budget. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Shannon, thank you very much. One day after deciding that Eastern Idaho Doomsday mom Lori Vallow is competent to stand trial, an Arizona judge has now ruled and said she can also represent herself against conspiracy charges related to the death of her ex-husband. Vallow has already been convicted in the deaths of her own 2 children, JJ and Tylee, as well as her husband's ex-wife Tammy Daybell in Idaho. Last year, she was transported to Arizona, though, to face additional charges. And this week, in her arguments to the Arizona judge, she told the court she's studied case law in both Arizona and Idaho over the past 5 years that she has been incarcerated and was ready to defend herself in court. Her most recent public defenders will stay on as an advisory council. Right now, jury selection is expected to begin in March of next year. 2 kindergartners are fighting for their lives after a shooting at their Christian school in Northern California. Police say a mentally disturbed man with a lengthy criminal background opened fire, hitting the 2 boys. Police say he faked interest in enrolling a grandchild at the Adventist school in order to gain access to the grounds. And tonight, the entire community is in shock.
It's tragic because everybody knows everybody. We're just very close in this entire community, and when something strikes, we come together.
A vigil for the 2 boys is now planned for later tonight.